So today we're going to be looking at a couple of things, right? And what I would say is yesterday's class was really tense, and we did that on purpose so we all can get on the same page. It's really amazing that we took just one class and we were able to set up 3 VMs. So I really appreciate you and you all for that. You all went through the tension and everything, but you got it going. So thanks for that. In today's class, we're going to be looking at what actually a server is. Why did we have to install these 3 servers? And you'll see one of the things that I want you to pay attention to is documentation. If you look at, let me share my screen. If you look at my screen here, what I'm sharing with you, they are still my notes from Kiawitek, right? These are still my notes from Kiawitek. Everything that we did when we were doing this virtualization, I kind of took down just my key points. And they are the same key points I'm going to use in teaching you all today, right? We created a VM. We ensure that the servers are registered. I'll show you that we set up the IP addresses. We set up the network. We set the networks to internal. We turn off the firewalls. And these are a lot of things that we're going to do. So I'm going to be explaining each step as we go through. So the first thing that I want to do is walk you all through a server operating system. Right, I want to walk you all through a server operating system. As we have said, a server is just like a computer, the network that is there to provide resources to other computers. And this server could be a database server, it could be a file share, it could be a print server, it could be a web server. But the main function is just there hosting resources and providing those resources to other client computers when they need those resources. So that is why you'll see on your Windows 10 computer, you just have your Windows 10. You have your File Explorer, which is going to show you the various drives that you have up. Here, I have just one drive, right? So, but with the server operating system, you have this as well. This is the same thing. When it comes to the concept of an operating system, right? It is the same thing. Here you have your server, you have your drives. You can go in there, you search for anything that you want to search. Let me say File Explorer, the same as you do on your local computer, right? But the difference now is a server, you have your server manager. This is where you manage everything on your server. This dashboard like this, it's called the server manager. Let me close that up, and it's just like you opening a File Explorer on your Windows computer, right? Server manager, you can go to your search, you go to server manager. If you go to search, you go to server manager, right? It's gonna come up like every other thing that you search on your Windows computer. And on this server manager, you can set up configurations. We're gonna be looking at, okay, a server is just, right now it's just a computer because we have not attached any functionalities. We have not installed any additional features, any additional roles to this server. We have not told this server that, okay, you have to act like a domain controller. We'll explain that. You have to act like a database server. You have to do this. You have to act like a DHCP server. You have to provide IP addresses to other computers in the network. We have not done any of those configurations. So a server without those setups is just the same like a normal computer that you have. What will really differentiate this from your computer is when we go under the manage, and you see we start adding roles and features. So on your computer, right, when you are doing something, like if you want to install SQL, what happens? You download SQL and you install it. But with a server operating system, all the various functions that this server can perform, they are already embedded in the operating system. All you need to do is to just go to your server and add them. In today's class, we're going to be adding a domain controller. We're going to be creating a DHCP server. We're going to be adding a .NET frame features on this particular server, and you will understand those once we start adding them. We'll explain each thing that we do. I really wish you all take down key points for your documentation. So when you look at your server manager here, this is the general interface that tells you everything, right? If you go on the local server to your right, to your left right there, it tells you every bit of information about your server. One of the things we're going to learn today also is to rename our server. You see, this server name is DC. but on your server, it's going to show you something else because you have not yet renamed it. This server is in a domain, and the domain is carewithtech.com, right? So this one has already been configured. We have the firewalls have been turned off. We'll explain each and every one of these as we go by. So the first thing that I want you all to do on your server, we're going to practice how to change that server, that name to actually the DC, right? Then we're going to go to that server. We ensure that that server is registered with Microsoft to have that 180 days countdown. Then we're going to set our IP addresses to make sure that this network that we are trying to install today or to set up today is working. The servers will be able to communicate with one another within the same environment. So first thing I want you to do, bring up Server Manager on your domain controller. Everybody bring up Server Manager on your domain controller. Somebody can share the screen. I already have this done. Okay, so when you bring up Server Manager, right, you see here when you click on a local server, it tells you your computer name. So, excuse me, another way where you could see this computer name here, right, could still be as you do on your local computer. You could open up File Explorer. So go ahead and open up File Explorer. You still right click on this PC. Go to the properties. Then on the properties now, you see what is your computer name. Same as you do on your local computer. Your computer name there is Win8i blah blah blah. So this does not really make sense. So you wanna, every computer in a network or in a company has a name associated to it. And most companies have a naming standard that they have adopted. That, for instance, all our computers are gonna, all our servers are gonna start with, might be the application name that the server is hosting and the year of that server. Might be the first letters of our company name, the year that the server was created, and the department that is hosting the server. So most companies, they have already adopted a naming convention. So when you go to a company to work and you are requesting a new server, you need to understand what is their naming convention. That's in part of the documents that you're going to read. What is their naming convention? So when you are requesting a new server, for the system admin guys to build it as we have just done, you tell them, I need this server. The server name should be ABCD, right? And that is based off the documentation that the company has adopted as far as naming convention is concerned. So you could also change your server name here. We're gonna get so familiar with this, so you can go ahead and close out of this. But I want you all to close out of this. I want you all to go through your server manager, go to your computer name, click there. It's gonna take you to the same place, right? Click there, it's gonna take you to the same place. Then you're gonna click on change. Click on change, then you type in the computer name. So I want your computer name to be DC. If you are on your DC, make sure you name this DC. If you're on your prod, you name it prod. If you're on your DRO, you name it DRO.
Excuse me, Prof.
Yes.
My server manager is not popping up.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing is a web.
Okay, hold on. It should be there. You should type in server manager correctly. For those who are here already, click on OK. And each time you change it, hold on, I'll come back to you, Silva. Each time you change the computer name, it's gonna prompt you to restart the computer, right? But I don't want us to restart the computer now. So just click on, when you click on OK there, click on OK again. Not there, on the pop-up. Click on OK. Click on close.
How did you get to system?
And then restart later.
Manager?
All right, so now, we have just done that. The change is going to take effect once we restart the computer. So who is asking? If you are having issues, go ahead and share your screen. Emmanuel, you can stop sharing.
I'm not really having issue. I just want to know how you got to where you changed the name.
You go to Server Manager. So look for Server Manager.
I'm here already, my Server Manager.
And quick question, Silva. You have to type Server Manager on the VM, not on your computer. Your computer is Windows 10. from what I'm seeing here, you are on your computer. That's why I see SQL there. Your server manager has to be on the server that you are trying to change the name. Minimize that on the top right. This, it might be too big and you don't see it. No, click on the square right there. Okay, so you already see server manager there. It's probably already there. So click on it. When you click on server manager, you go to local server to your left. It gives you information about that local server that you are on. And now you can go ahead and change the name. And on this, in this screen is going to tell you everything. Right now, I can see that your computer name, Silver, is WDs. It is in this work group. I have all these IP address, remote desktop enable. The system, the operating system version is Microsoft Windows Server 2019. That's another way if you want to know what operating system your servers are running on. That is where you can look at. To the right, you see the processor, which is Intel Arrow Core. You have the installed memory on this your computer, which is 1.2 gig. Why did you make it 1.2? I thought we made it 4. Right.
It was 4.
And,
It was 4 that I did.
Mine too is 1.24. When we had 4.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll need to check why it is showing 1.24. So
Mine is 1.35.
okay, probably the operating system already grabbed part of it, but I don't think that is the reason. It should show you all of that. I'll look into that. And then you see your disk space allocated it was 100 gigs, so that's 99.4. So it gives you all that information, right? Click on a computer name and then change it. So that is computer. So that is a computer name. So click there. And again, click on change. I said do not restart. When you do everything, you have to restart it later on. So give it, if this is also DC, put in DC there on the name, on the computer name, DC, and you click on OK, and you restart it. So don't restart it now. So if you have all your VMs open, right, most of these things that we'll do today, you'll need to do them on the other VM. So if you have all your VMs open, I'll give a 30 minutes break for you to change everything. Click on OK. Click on close. And then now you restart later. You click on restart later. Okay, any issues understanding what this server manager is all about? We're gonna play a lot with this, right? So just most of the things we're gonna touch them like practically, but now just familiarize yourself how to get to server manager, where you can check your computer name, how you can check your memory and all of those stuff. Any questions at this point?
Brian, after you do the computer name, then there is this window that is talking about computer description. Oh, it's the same thing, so I have to close that one, right? I should take OK.
Take OK when you take OK, close. When you get to the point where it says restart now, do not restart now. Restart
Yeah, I took later already.
Yeah, so you can close that. All right, perfect. So let me share and I'll go through certain things. Somebody asked a question yesterday. We're gonna first of all do our networking, right? We're gonna set up our networking, then test our computers to make sure that all of them are communicating. That is what we need to do. Somebody asked a question. Please mute yourself if you are not saying anything. Stop sharing, let me share.
Brian.
Yes.
Please, my computer is really running so slow that I don't understand what's going on. I've just been unable to change my computer name. Since I click, it just keeps spinning.
How many of the VMs do you have up?
I have 2 of them now.
Okay, that's why I wanted us to just like work with one. I don't know how your processor speed is on your computer, whether it's going to be fast or it's going to be slow. But you can go ahead and bring it up. Let me see before you proceed. Did you click on OK?
Right.
Yes. I already click on OK. See.
So this is your prod. Did you already change on DC?
I tried setting up DC. It was too slow, so I had to go on this.
But that is it. Click on OK. Click on close. and then restart later. I don't think it's really that slow the way you're talking, the way you mentioned it. So minimize that and go back to your DC. Bring up your DC. Bring up your DC. You minimize your server manager. You want to minimize your prod.
This is my DC.
We don't see it.
Oh, sorry, I stopped sharing.
So bring up server manager on your DC.
I think this is.
No, that is your local host. That is on your DC. Minimize it. If you have it maximized like that, you might be not there. Yeah, click there. Click there to minimize it. Okay. So now bring up server manager. Bring up your DC, Akum. Just listen. Right. Click on your DC and bring it up. Okay. Minimize your DC. Yes. Minimize it. Click on the two squares in between the negative and the multiplication sign on the top left there.
This one.
The middle one, yes.
That's maximized.
It was already maximized. So
In the search box, just type in server manager. Server manager, yeah.
No, this is his computer. This is his computer.
This is computer. No, this is DC.
Minimize again.
What do I do?
Minimize it again.
Hold on. Click on the squares up there, Akum.
Which one? Maximize this one?
Click on the square. I don't want to talk about whether it's maximized or minimized. Just click on the two squares. Okay, wait for it to come up. Yeah, it's running slow. Anyway, let's move on. It's gonna come up. You can just minimize it and follow up with your prod with your prod. That is fine. Bring up your prod and your DR. Go to your DR. Because when you have all of them running at the same time like that, it might be consuming your resources if your computer is not really strong enough. And your WhatsApp, you can close out of your WhatsApp because all of those things are consuming your resources on your computer. Anything that you have running is burning those resources. You can right click there and X out of that. So you don't have all of those things up. Even do you have SQL up?
No. No.
Okay. Anyway, let us continue. When we start, just follow it. We'll start looking at the networking part. We'll touch all of those. Let me share my screen and just do some housekeeping here before we proceed. Okay, so what we are about to do, right? As of now, this is what we get. We got our host computer, right? We have a host computer. This is our host computer here, which is, let me just call it, this is Akum. This is Akum. That's your computer. On your computer, we have enabled hypervisor, and on this hypervisor, we have enabled our Hyper-V, right? We have enabled our Hyper-V. We have enabled our Hyper-V, and on Hyper-V, we have installed our operating system. We have installed Windows. So this, let's just say we have 3. This is 1, 2, and a 3, right? We have our DR. We have our DC first. DC. We have our prod. We have our DR. So on this DC now, these are the hardwares, right, that we have seen. We have installed separate hardwares on top of this Hyper-V version. So here we have our RAM. That is we have our RAM. We have our network card. We have a memory. and all that stuff, right? So we have all of this. Right now, what we are about to do, we already, or yesterday again, we went ahead and installed an operating system, Windows Server 2019, on top of these hardware that we have. So this is where we are today. This is where we are today. So our goal today is to, first, we have renamed these computers to actually make sense to us, right? So what we are about to do now is to create a network between these three computers. Remember, when we were installing these computers yesterday, we said these computers will have an external network. And this external network helped these computers to connect to the internet. The external network helped the computers to connect to the internet, right? So this was able to connect to the internet. This was able to connect to the internet. This was able to connect to the internet, right? To get registered. So now if you look on your computer, on the very bottom of your screen, you'll see that whether you're on your prod or whatsoever, you see, look at the very bottom right of my screen here. It's going to tell you Windows Server 2019, blah, 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 Windows license valid for 40 days, right? Mine is 40 days ago. I've installed this for long. Yours should be 179 days or something. So I explained yesterday that this is a free version of Windows that we are using, and Microsoft gives you 180 days to utilize that. So 180 days is 6 months. After 180 days, and it only gets the registration when you connect that VM to the internet, and Microsoft validates that, okay, clean, you have installed this free version of Windows, and we have given you a registration key to go for 180 days. If yours does not show here 170 something days, this particular VM is going to be restarting approximately every hour. That way you cannot do anything there. Right, that is one thing, and that is why we set our network to external. Now that we have set our network to external, right, what does that mean? These VMs, they are able to connect to the external network. What if we want these VMs? Right now, let me just create, let me just do this. Put the three VMs in here, right? What if we want these, our 3 VMs, just to communicate only among themselves, to create a connection between themselves, so that if I have resources from here, if I have resources on my prod or on my DC, DR can get those resources as well. DR can get those resources as well, and prod can get those resources as well. So what we do now is we set up an internal network. We set up an internal network, and this internal network is going to link these computers together. So that is what we are about to do now. And when we are talking about setting up a network simply, a computer network is the interconnection of multiple computers, right? Interconnection of multiple computers, right? To share resources with one another, because if these computers are not interconnected, then we'll not be able to see the resources that are on A or B or C. So a computer network helps to connect computers within, to communicate with one another, right? So right now we have an internal network. These computers could still communicate with one another through an external network. We just need to set that up. So let us take, for instance, this is our company right now, right? We have another company, Kiawitech company, with 3 computers. This is the branch in the US. We have another company in Africa, a branch office in Africa, right there. And in this branch office in Africa, we have also installed our 3 VMs. We also have our 3 VMs there. At this point, there is an internal network between these 3 VMs, right? We set up an internal network between these 3 VMs as well. Then what happens now if these networks if these computers or these 2 networks need to be linked together? So at this point, we can set up a network between this branch office to communicate with this branch office. So through now the internet over an external network, right? So this is how complicated networking is. But our goal here is not to get you into networking. It's just to make you get those basics, the understanding how these computers communicate with one another. So for these computers to communicate with one another, right? One of the things that is very important for computers to communicate with one another in a network is what you call an IP address. So we're gonna look at an IP address today. Then we're gonna see how to set up an IP address, how to set it up, right? We're gonna look at also the computer name. We have already seen what a computer name is. So an IP address in every network is very important. So IP stands for Internet Protocol. An IP address is that unique number. It's just like a street address, right? That permits computers to communicate with over the internet. Each device that you have getting to the internet has a unique IP address. Each thing, if you have a network in your house and you have 50 phones, each of those phones that you browse the internet through your home network has a unique IP address. So going back to your home network, right? Let me just do, I'm taking off this thing now. We don't need this, right? Are we on the same page, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So going, I don't need to save that. So going now to our home network, let me give you this example, right? That is the internet. This is your home right here. Oops, that looks like a coffin, sorry. I don't like that. This is your home right here, right? You have AT&T. You have AT&T. AT&T, where is that T? So when you call, that's a dollar sign. When you say, hey, I need internet in my house, or on my house, AT&T comes to your house, and what they do is they set up a router. They set up a router here, right? So this router, what happens is, this is what actually connects to the internet. And this router, they give you a public IP address. This, your public IP address, is what you use to connect to the internet. So now, you have just one public IP address in your house, and that is what makes the connection to the internet. But now, every device that you have at home, makes a connection to the internet through this public IP address that AT&T has given you. So this guy in your home right now cannot just leave and go to the internet, right? This your public IP address could be, I'm just getting into numbers now, I'm gonna explain. It could be 10.0.0.0, let me say, yeah, /254, right? We are getting to numbers, but just let that be. So, but this is what the internet knows, that, okay, if this IP address hits me, I'm gonna give this IP address a connection. So in your house, what happens is your 50 phones or your TV that goes to the internet, at this point, they create class C IP addresses like 192.168, blah, blah, blah. So all of them, they have their own unique IP addresses, which is different from this public IP address. So at this point, every computer that you have at your home to get to the internet, what they do is they send this connection to your public IP address. They send to your public IP address. And from your public IP address, it takes this and it routes it to the internet using this address that is being recognizable over the internet, right? That's a little bit of networking, how your internet in your home is being set up with your multiple phones and stuff like that, right? So this is what happens. So right now, question.
Brian.
Yes.
So your devices in your house only have a class C. What about class A, B, D, the other classes?
Okay, we're gonna explain that detailedly, right? Okay. But your devices in your house at this point, you have just this class C IP address because
okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna explain the different classes of IP addresses. That is a complete different class. You don't need to understand all of those. So this is basically the concept that I want you all to understand. But coming back to our Kiawe Tech domain that we are creating, we have Kiawe Tech. We have already connected those computers. So what happened is our regular computer was able to make a connection to the internet. Our computer was able to make the connection to the internet. So when we created that external network, with this our computer, when we created those external network with this our 3 VMs, right? Let me say this was the network card of our regular computer. This is the network card of that computer. So when we said this, our 3 VMs needs to make a connection to the internet, they were not going to the internet directly because we have not given them any IP address. So what they did was they would make a connection to this our network card on our host, and that our network card on our host is making a connection to the internet. So that is what actually happened, right? Don't try to over understand this. Just get a little bit of what you can get, then we'll move forward with the configurations. Any questions at this point?
So I want to use the example or the first one. So when AT&T comes and set the router, you have public access to internet, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, when you put the other devices in the house connect through the router to get the internet, under what type of IP address would they fall? So
that's a local IP address. That's a Class C IP address that you have at your home. But what AT&T does, AT&T comes and they give you a public IP address that your router connects to the internet. So now it depends on what is your internet speed or whatsoever. At that point, when you have your public IP address, that is the only thing that connects to the internet, because if you need to have every single device, right, to have that unique connection in the internet, then IP addresses are going to die down. Right now, going further, there are two classes of IP address. You have there are two types of IP addresses. You have IPv version 4, which is the oldest that they have been using, right? Let me just explain this to you. You have IPv4 and you have IPv version 6, right? So IPv4 is the one that they have been using for the most part, where you have like the 192.168.0. Something. Then this IPv6 is something like hexadecimal, this 09, something like that, right? So this one, why companies are switching to IPv6 now, because all IPv version 4s, they are exhausted, or they're gonna be exhausted pretty soon. That is why they have come up with this. So if every device in your home needed to make a direct connection to the internet or to have a public IP address, then you'll see that in the long run, there will be no available IP addresses, right? I don't want you to get so detailedly into that. It's not a networking class, but just understand that your router has a public IP address that makes connection to the internet, and every device in your home to connect to the internet, it has to go through your router in order to get that internet access. That is all I want you to understand for now.
Let's take in the case of Cameroon, where it's not every house that has a router, but they do have internet.
So if not every house is having a router, it means what has happened is MTN has gone, there's a pole somewhere there with a router very close that MTN Cameroon has gone, and they'll say, okay, in this pole here, right, there's a router here, that gets connection to the internet. And all of these houses that are here, they have some IP addresses from this. Let me say this is the house right here, right? These houses, they get the IP addresses. Everything it routes to this particular router, which is on that pole, to the internet.
Right.
Now, when the houses connect too much to that pole, is the connection going to be slow at some point, or what?
Definitely, it depends on the speed. It depends on the speed that that router on that pole is giving you. So,
sorry, please, I want to ask, where will I place a VPN, virtual private network or something, VPN? Is it like a small server that the computer get connected to?
So again, this is Kiawi Tech home office here in the US, and let me say this is you right now at home, right? This is you at home in your home, working on your computer. Kiawi Tech has servers here that you need to have access to work, right? At this point, for you to access these servers, you must be in the Kiawi Tech network. You must be within this Kiawi Tech network. Be within the Kiawi Tech network, there are two things. It's either you walk into the office and you sign into your computer knowing that you're in the network, or from your home, Kiawi Tech can create a connection now called a VPN access. So a VPN now is just like they create a tunnel here. That, okay, when you make a VPN connection, from your home network here, you can actually go ahead and connect. You can actually connect. You can actually connect to the network using this tunnel. At this point, it is private because this, if some other person was here in his own house, he or she will not be able to connect to the Kiawitech, network, right?
Okay.
Because the VPN is private. It's just like a tunnel. They tell, okay, use this route and get into my network. This is where from your home now, you can get into your network. That is what most of us working from home, that is what we are doing. We make a VPN connection to our work network, right? Our office network. That is how we are able to access resources. If you don't do a VPN connection, you just leave this one to be just public out there. If you just leave it to be public, what will happen is anybody in the internet, if you have access to the internet, you can literally make a connection to the Kiawitech network. So that is when you have the issue of virtual private networks. All right, let's go a little bit. We're gonna explain more as we are going, right? Let us make some progress. One moment, let me take this guy to his mom. Let me. Hold on. What am I gonna do? What am I doing? Okay, sorry about that. So let me, before we go ahead and set up our IP addresses, I just want to have a slide here that I just want to share to explain. I know we're going to have a lot of questions. So IP address, right? The Internet Protocol address, IP address, is a unique address that computing devices such as your personal computers, your tablets, everything used to identify itself and communicate with other devices in the IP network, right? Any device connecting to the IP network must have a unique IP address. So that's exactly what we are saying. Any device that has to connect to in a network has a unique IP address. So you see that there are some. We also said even though we are not connecting to the internet, we can also have IP addresses just to make computers communicate with one another. That's just an internet protocol. What we'll do now is to set up an IP address. In the process of doing this, we're gonna see how I'm gonna explain more to you. But just so we know, this is how an IP address looks, right? And in an IP address, this is, you see a number like this, 192.168.1 does this. Question?
Yes, I have question. I'm so sorry, I'm with AT&T, so I'm more like trying to, so my question goes to IP, which is internet,
protocol.
Give me one moment. They come back again, I'm sorry.
All right, so let's proceed. So you have your IP address here, right? It has two parts. It has the network ID, right? You see here is highlighted. You have the network ID and you have the host ID. So the network ID is now what identifies your network. And the last option there, the last octet, is actually your host ID. This is what uniquely identifies your computer. So it tells you that this computer with .33 is in the 192.168.1 network, right? So we're gonna see all of this. For now, just try to get the numbers. You're gonna understand this with time. You don't have to really understand all of this, but just know that this is how an IP address is being set up. Okay, so what I want us to do now is to set up an IP address on our computers, right? We'll start with our domain controller. I want this to be unique. That's why I'm gonna use my notes from Kiawitech when I was a student. And I'll give this all to you, right? So what we'll do is to set up this is gonna be our IP address. This is gonna be our IP address for our DC. This is what we are doing right now. And to set up an IP address, I'm gonna share my screen and show you all. So let me send this in the chat so you all can grab that, put it somewhere.
Mr. Brian, why are you doing that? I'm so sorry. I'm trying to, I'm talking with the AT&T so they can rectify the problem. So that being said, what about, I just wanted to know the difference between the Internet Protocol version 4 and version 6.
Okay, the main difference is that version 4 was the older version, and it has less less numbers, and version 6 is a newer version, and it has more. It can take more IP addresses. Version 4 has a limited number of IP addresses. That is why we are running out of internet IP addresses version 4 now, and version 6 is coming up with more and more IP addresses.
I'm here. Give me 1 moment. All righty. Thank you.
You're welcome. So this is what we are. I've sent this in the chart. So to set up the IP address of your computer, right? That is what I want us all to do. There are two ways, but let us go. Since we are on our server, right? We are on our server. Before we do this, I want you to first of all tell me what is the IP address of your computer. I gave an assignment yesterday. I don't know if anyone tried that. Did anyone try it?
Yeah, yes. We have to ping on something.
Okay.
Yes.
So anyway, since you try, we'll get there. Let's just go ahead and set this up and we'll look at it, right? So go ahead to set up, bring up your server manager on your DC. Let's start with your DC. Who was having issues with his DC like that? Akum, did your DC finally come up?
Yes, I have all 3 VMs now running smoothly.
Beautiful. Okay, so on your DC, what I want us to do, right? The first thing is when you open up your server manager, you'll see your Ethernet. This is where you can make a change to the IP address, right? So if you click on your Ethernet, you click here on whatsoever you have there. It brings you to this page.
It's a lot of background noise from someone.
Let me see.
Margaret.
Is it Margaret?
Yes.
How is it Margaret? That thing is not even on me.
It's showing on you. You cannot see it.
It's showing on you, Margaret.
All right. Okay, so are we all here? So I'm going to take this over again. If you bring up your server manager and you click on local server, right, you see your IP address, right? Internet. Under the Ethernet, you're going to see this configuration here. So you can click on it. Once you click on it, you see this is your network card. Let me have someone share the screen. So I already have most of these things. Does someone want to share? All right. So bring up your DC. We don't see your DC. You need to bring up your VM, your DC VM. Go on the bottom of your screen and bring up your DC.
Yeah, it's in the other screen. I want to move it over.
Okay. You already have it open. So just go down to the bottom of your screen. You don't need to connect again. Go down to the bottom of your screen where you have your virtual machines on your taskbar. Go down to your taskbar.
Yeah, I have it on my other screen. I'm just trying to move it over.
So you should have just shared the other screen. Okay. You can stop sharing and share the screen where you have it on. Maxwell.
Yeah. Hello?
Are you at work or you're at home?
At work.
Okay. Okay, while Margaret is trying to figure that out, please let someone share. If you already have this off, please share your screen.
Mine not sharing already?
No, we are not seeing
It's
it,
not
Margaret.
showing.
We are seeing just your Zoom or something.
I just moved the Zoom over.
All right, so perfect. So this is what you'll get, right? This is remember, we created a network, right? And even before we do this, right, since we want to set this internet to internal, let us go back to our virtual machines, right? Go bring up your Hyper-V manager. So let us set the networks to internal. Bring up your Hyper-V manager. Hyper-V manager is not going to be on your DC, it's going to be on your local computer.
And local computer.
So you can minimize DC and bring up Hyper-V manager. Minimize that. Yeah. So this is your Hyper-V manager. Each time I talk of Hyper-V manager, this is what I want to see, right?
Oh, okay.
You know that it's only on your VM. It's not on any of those. I mean, on your local computer, not on those VMs. So let us set the networks to internal. So right now, I know you all have understood the concept between internal and external network. So to set a network to internal, you actually go to the VM, right click on your DC, go to the VM, right click on your DC, you go to the settings. Once you go to the settings, so this is a VM that we created yesterday. Somebody asked if you could change things after the VM has already been created, right? So look up there. On the first thing up there, it tells you the hardware, the second thing, the firmware, and then it gives you the memory. Click on the memory. You see, if you want to increase this memory, you can go ahead and increase it there, right? But now, because your VM is on, you will not be able to change it. You see the RAM there is you get 240-something megabyte. So you'll not be able to change it up there. This one is just the minimum and maximum RAM, right? But the amount of, specify the amount of memory that this virtual machine can use. That is actually what it is there. So right now you can change this or whatsoever I want to do, that is fine. But our interest is to change the network adapter. So click on network adapter and change. When you click there, you change it from external to internal. So click on apply and click on OK. So do this go to your DR and do the same thing. Change everything to internal. No, you are doing, that's not correct. Change to internal. And do the same thing on your prod.
So my prod is not running right now. I didn't want.
That is fine. Just you'll be able to change it as well. Right click there.
Okay.
Go to settings. Click on network adapter. Change to internal. Then apply and click on OK. So now you have changed all your networks to internal, right? But at the same time, you cannot, you can minimize that and bring up your DC. At the same time, you will not be able to ping anything, right? All of these internet pages that you have open like this, each page of internet that you have open also has an amount of memory that is consuming on your computer, right? All those internet pages you have open, when you're in class, please just close them and make your computer, help your computer to run faster by closing all of those things. So now we have everything to internal, right? So let's
Brian,
go.
I have a question.
Yes.
On master screen, we can see the window is active for 180 days. However, on my own, I can't see, it's not popping up from the right side. I can't see if it's, I don't know why it's not displaying that number, that value.
And I asked that already if everybody has that. So in your case, means your VM did not make a connection to the internet.
How is that possible?
I don't know. So it has to show you. I think I asked that question earlier. I said if yours is not showing 180 days, your VM is going to restart every hour.
I think his is already restarting. Emmanuel, your this thing was restarting yesterday, right?
Yeah. I don't even have any stuff showing up on the right side.
Okay. Hold on. So go ahead and share your screen. Share your screen. That's something you need to fix it. Is anybody, does your VM show there 180 days?
How do we check that? Mine is not showing.
Exactly. You didn't actually ask us to check. You were just talking about it. That was why I didn't raise it that time.
Check on the right side of your.
So this is it. I don't have it here.
So minimize it. Click on just minimize. Click on those two squares, not that one. Or minimize the VM itself. Click on those, or it's maximized. Click on those two squares.
Yeah.
And then I don't really see the bottom of that VM.
Of this VM?
Yes. That is your computer. That is your computer. I don't maximize that. No, not the VM itself, not Hyper-V. Go to the VM itself.
Let me close this. Or can I close this up?
No, don't close it. Just close out of this internet connection, this internet page. I mean the network configuration page.
This one?
Don't close that. No, calm down. The network configuration page. This white page that you have here, I want you to close out of it. While you just open, I see your screen where I have recycle bin. I see network connections. I want you to close this network connection window. Perfect. Okay, maximize this VM again. So it doesn't show anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so go to your Hyper-V manager. Go to Hyper-V manager.
This is my Hyper-V.
Hyper-V manager is not on this VM. It's on your local computer. Each time I say go to Hyper-V manager, you have to minimize your VM. It will take you to your desktop on your local computer. So minimize this VM.
Okay, what's this interface called?
That is your desktop. This is your server. This is your DC computer. This is the desktop. You are looking at your DC computer right now, right? So that's Hyper-V manager there. So what I want you to do, go ahead and go to your networks, go to your virtual switch manager, create that external switch. You have just internal, create an external switch. Apply that. Yes. Okay, so click on OK. So set your DC now to that external switch. Let's see. You have to click on network. Just click on networks, and then set it to external. Okay, go now to your DC, to the VM itself. You can just right click on that DC and connect. Just right click there and connect. All right, so maximize that and then go ahead and restart it. Restart the DC.
How do I restart this?
Go to the bottom left of your screen. Click there, click on restart. And then continue. So it will try to make a connection to the internet. Who does not have that countdown?
I don't have it. How do we check it, Brian?
I don't have it.
Who has it?
Amata has it.
I have it. Oh my God.
If you have it, share your screen and show them how to check it. Somebody share your screen.
You open the VM. Once you maximize the VM.
Brian.
Yes.
So
One moment, please. One moment. One moment. Okay. Show that thing to them, Akum.
You minimize your VM.
So this is what happened.
You maximize it, please.
Akum, share your screen. Share your screen. Or somebody, if you have it, share your screen again, please. So if you look
go to my
bottom,
VM, I open, and that's
your DC.
It doesn't matter whether it's what VM. Once you open the VM and you maximize it, you see on the bottom here, all of you look at the screen. Do you see on the bottom right of his computer saying Windows Server 2019 Data Center?
Yes.
Do you see it says 179 days?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I want you all to see on your computer. If you are not seeing that on your DC, let me know. Share your screen.
Okay.
I can't see it on my computer.
Akum, is your 3 VMs, are they on?
Yes, this is Pro.
Maybe that's why your system is slow.
Is it only on DC? You will see
it. It has to be on every computer, but let's just work with your DC. For now, let us make sure the DC is okay. Akum, stop sharing. If you don't have that on your DC, go ahead and share your screen.
My own is still showing 180 days.
It is fine because you just did that today.
Because you just had it today.
Just a feedback, I have 180 days right now on my DC, so I'll just go and configure the remaining VMs.
Yes, so do the same on the other VM. What you need to do on the other VMs, change the network switches to external and then restart them. Who is this sharing? Is this Frank?
Yeah.
Okay, Frank, maximize, close out of that. So maximize that VM. Yeah, click there. So it tells you here, activate Windows now. You see that it is not activated, right? It is not activated. If it is activated, it will give you that countdown. So Frank, minimize this, bring up your Hyper-V manager. Okay, so on your Hyper-V manager, I want to first click on your, that is fine. No, I want your Hyper-V manager. This is your VM. You can close out of this. Bring Hyper-V manager. So click on virtual network, virtual switch manager to your right. Let me see if you have the switch created. Virtual switch manager. Okay, so you have just, you have internal, you have external. Okay, so close out of this. Right click on your DC and go to settings. Okay, click on, you see the network adapter there. Change it from up to external. Click on apply. Click on OK. Then connect now. Go to your right click on your DC and go to connect. Connect. Okay, so maximize that. Just maximize. You might want to maximize that. Or minimize it. I don't see anything. So you can close out of server manager. Close out of this server manager. You don't need this now, right? Close out of server manager. No, that is your product. I want you to work on your DC. Do your DC. So I want you to restart your DC, Frank. That's what I want you to do. Close that as well. Yeah. On the very bottom left. Do you see where to restart the computer?
Nothing yet.
Okay, so I want you to, I don't know why yours is showing like that, but you need to maximize it. Let us see completely. Close, Frank, please. All those Internet Explorer windows behind there, I want you to close all of those. Just close all of those Internet Explorer windows there. Okay, anything that you're not using, you just have to close it up. I see another Internet Explorer window to your left. Okay, so now that you're here, click there. Okay, this is your DC. Perfect. So click there.
Easy. Should I maximize it?
No, that's fine. That's okay. You see, as long as you see that Windows logo on the bottom left, go where you were. Go to the bottom left. Click there. Click on that option there, and then click on restart. Continue. Okay. So go back to your Hyper-V Manager and change your prod. Go to your Hyper-V Manager. So go to your prod, right click, go to settings, change that to external, apply and OK. So I hope you all understand this concept of external. Do the same with your DR. Right click on DR. If you don't set the network to external, this computer will not be able to make a connection to the internet and your VM will not register. So now you need to restart. Go now to your, click OK, connect to your prod and restart it as well. Right click, connect. So you need to restart it as well. Yeah, just click. It might just be taking some time, but just click there and restart it.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
And so just do that and do the same thing on your DR.
Okay.
Stop sharing. Who else is not seeing the countdown?
Yeah, I'm not there. I just came back. My computer froze, so I'm trying to get everything running again.
All right, share your screen. Let's see.
Just a minute.
So, Emmanuel, everything came back and is connected, right?
Yes. Everything is
connected. So if yours is connected, right? If yours is having that countdown, I want you to go to your Hyper-V Manager and change all the switches back on your prod or your DC to internal. So go to settings. First of all, I want you to connect to the VM4. Let us see if it is counting.
Okay.
Excuse me, bro.
One moment, let me see here. Just bring up your DC. I thought yesterday it should be counting. I don't
know. It wasn't counting when I looked at it today.
Okay, just bring it up. Let's see.
Is it coming up? I don't know.
Okay, so right click again and do connect. Maybe you already have it open.
I don't know. I'm checking. Okay, let me see here. Okay, here it is.
Yeah. So just connect.
Okay.
So everybody, make sure you change back. If yours is counting, change everything back to internal. Type in your password.
Yes.
What do you mean by changing? Is it the CPU usage?
Change back your network to internal. What we just did here and change it to external, right click on the VM, go to settings and click on the network and change it back to internal. If you are not sure, hold on. I will let you share your screen later on.
Okay.
Okay, Brian.
I see my screen.
Yes, I see your screen but on the bottom, on the very, it's kind of, can you minimize it? It's kind of showing a little bit funny right here.
Okay. Let's see.
Can you go up and click on the two squares in between the?
I'm not even seeing them. Let me move it to another screen. This screen is there.
Okay, yeah, I see yours is not counting. I can see that.
Brian.
Yes.
And his VM is not connected to the internet too. So I had this too, but he should change to the default switch so that he can get that internet connection before changing to internal.
What I wanted to ask you.
Okay, yeah, let us see. So go to your Hyper-V manager. Well,
let me close this now. Okay, let me close.
Yeah, just close that. Bring up your Hyper-V manager.
Oh, the original one.
Not on the VM. The Hyper-V manager is on your computer itself, not here. You can minimize this. First here, let us all do this. Now that you're here, click on
difficulties of this screen. I want to move it to another screen. Don't know why. I'm not even seeing the minimize button.
So stop sharing. You can stop sharing. Stop sharing and share the other screen.
Okay.
Brian, can I ask you a quick question, please?
Yes.
Okay, because yesterday I had a problem trying to set up my VMs, so, and the problem was that I couldn't connect to external switch. So, and I went to, and I had a short session with
yeah, I understand that what you all did, change, turn off the internet enhancement, reset the network, and set it to the default switch, right?
Thank you. It's now on default. So do I have to do all these things we are doing now?
Yes, go ahead and set it back to internal.
Okay.
So for share your screen again, let's see. Edie.
Yes, sir.
Are you quiet today, sir?
Sir, I'm a little bit behind.
What happened?
I joined the class a little bit late, so I tried to connect to my VM. I can't. And when I click to connect, it showed me like I need to install again. I don't know.
Okay, hold on. But you did not install, right? So
no.
So what we'll do here for is let us set it to default switch, right? Just right click on your DC. Right click on your DC. Go to settings. You see it's already on external. So click on that external. Click on network adapter.
Network adapter here.
Yeah, click on that drop down.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Put it to default.
Okay.
Click on apply.
Oh,
and okay.
Apply.
When you see apply and okay, there is always a reason. Most of the time we just run to click on okay, right? But if you make a change and you really want to save it, it's good to click on the apply and then click on okay. So do the same thing with your DR. Your DR is the same thing, right? It's not counting?
It's not counting. All of them are not counting.
Okay, do the same thing. Settings.
Okay, sorry, Brian.
One moment, please.
Is this for those who don't? Okay.
It's only for those whose VMs are not counting.
The 190 days, right?
Yes. Is yours okay?
No, I've seen it. Yeah,
okay.
It is.
All right, so just hold
back to default.
So guys, right now, all should have noted is we deal a lot with go to internal and external switch. So just put on your own documentation how to change the network switch. Go to Hyper-V Manager on your local computer. Right click on the VM. Select this. So each time I tell you change the switch from internal to external, you will not ask me how to do it. Right? So do prod. Go to prod and do the same thing. So Barbara, will this require a system restart?
So let me first of all go to his VM and let's see if the connection has been established between the VM and the internet. If it doesn't, then we'll have to restart. You're already connected. I see your VMs now. Okay, you're still doing that one.
Okay, click on OK. Then go to connect to your DC. Go to your DC. Just bring up your DC. Let's see.
Okay.
Right click on DC and connect.
So then,
all right. So yeah, so from here it shows that if you restart, it should connect because it.
Yes.
It should. So first of all, open up Hyper Server Manager. Bring up Server Manager here. Right. So for those, look at what is doing now. You all have to do this. So you see where you have IE enhancement, security configurations to your left. I mean to your right.
IE and down.
The seat option, yeah. From.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So turn it off. So everybody. So first, documentation. Turn off IE enhancement under Server Manager. So click on off on both of those.
Sorry, is the product ID is non-active. Mine is active. Is that okay?
Hold on. What do you mean by product ID?
The one down there.
Where?
Under IE enhanced.
Yeah, it's not activated. That's why it's saying it's not activated because it has not connected to the internet. So go ahead and restart restart the server now.
Okay.
Go ahead and restart it. Yeah.
Brian, do we off administrator and users?
Yes, you do both. You turn off for both.
Sorry, I'm getting confused. Should we off it, or you're talking to a particular person?
We all are gonna do that, but I'm still gonna walk you through all to do that. If you can do it, that is fine. If you don't want to do it, I'm just doing it because he was already there. But I'm still gonna go through the various steps to make sure that we all have the same configuration. But some of the things that
Brian,
yes.
Why are you doing that? Quick question. What is different between external and internal network? And the reason why you must turn to external as to internal?
I'll answer that later on. So just note that question. I'm going to answer it again. I've answered it like 3 times, but I'm going to answer it again. So just note it somewhere. Let's get all this done. Then once everybody's on the same page, I'll be explaining all of those things again. So go to your prod again and do it. Go to your prod.
Okay. Minimize this one.
Yeah. So right click and connect to your prod and do the same thing. And the time is flying. Log in and all right, so this one
counted.
Yeah. This one is good. You don't have to do anything with this one. So go check your DR.
Yeah.
This is you don't we can come back here later. Just minimize that. That is fine. Just minimize it. Just go to your DR.
So where did you see that it's counting, please?
Who is this? Who is asking?
It's Blessing.
So this
Oh,
one.
show how where you saw that it's counting.
Right here. 180 days Windows valid.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so you should have that.
Go
Okay.
to your DRO and do the same thing. Let us connect to your DRO. Let's see.
It's not doing bad today. It was very slow yesterday. Yesterday was just.
Probably you're still trying to get used to.
This is.
I think this one should be good also. Why is coming up? Can you go ahead and check your prod to see if your prod is counting?
If it's.
Bring up your prod and let's see if it activated. I mean,
Okay.
your DC.
Is a prod okay? The DC.
Yeah, DC. Yeah, no prod is okay. So bring up DC, log into
This
it.
DR. Okay.
Brian, under the enhancement, i.e., enhanced security, is it the administrators that we turn off or the user?
You turn off both.
Both.
So these are the little things. If we all are not on the same place in this class, then it's gonna be taking us a lot of back and forth. So this one is good, right? That's why I want us all to be at the same page. All of our VMs should be counting. Then we're gonna work as a team. Do this, do this, do this. That way it's easier that way. Go to your DC and see.
Use the DC opening up now.
Okay. So our goal in this class today is at the end of the class, all of these VMs should be in a network and they are communicating with one another. That is our goal for the class today. Then the next class will probably start adding features and stuff like that. All right, who else is not having his or hers counting registered? Apart from Ada?
I'm not able to check, sir, because I'm not able to connect to the VM.
Okay, so is that Edie?
Yes, sir.
The latecomer?
I just hope I'm not having issues.
Well, yeah, that's a good hope. So let me just confirm with Paul. So, but Edie, go ahead and share your screen. Let's see what you got, why that is coming on for. Just let us know if it's connected or not.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ford, did you already check your DC if it's counting?
That's the one we're waiting on right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Edie, you are the guy with the 12 gig, right? Did you upgrade?
No, yeah, I just placed the order. I'm not getting it.
Okay, so right click on that DC and go to connect. Did you try to reinstall this computer for? I mean, click on, you see that red option there? That like the stop, click there. Yeah, let me see. Click shutdown. Shutdown. The application encountered an error while attempting to change the state of DC. Click on close. Click on action. Click on turn off.
I click start.
Yeah, click on start.
Do what you did yesterday, the button.
No, you don't have to do it. Don't do that. If you do that, then you are trying to reinstall your computer again.
Because
Don't
I
do
still
that.
did that anyways.
No, you don't have to do that. If you do that, you'll reinstall your computer.
Press any key to boot from
No.
CD or DVD.
If he already installed a computer,
I already installed it.
Oh, okay.
Probably did you try to do this process again, AD? Did you try this again?
Yeah, I tried, but I canceled it when I.
Okay, so if you already if you tried it, it means maybe it already went further, and it probably went further and might be something.
Okay, so I have to install again.
Yeah, you probably have to reinstall that computer, because if you already started it and went further to maybe it erased some files and stuff like that, it's not gonna come up.
Okay, so I delete those two and restart again.
You don't need to delete them. Like right now, when you start this, just click on action. You're gonna be behind. Click on action, Control Delete. Then you press the key to boot from CD. Click on Enter and reinstall that operating system.
Okay.
So follow that step to reinstall it, everything, and you will join us after.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Brian. Not to take you guys back. The IP addresses, subnets, and DNS you sent on the chats. What was it for? I stepped out just briefly.
We are still getting there.
Okay.
All right. So now I want to assume that apart from AD and our brothers or sisters in Cameroon with who else? Ada, we all have our VMs counting, right? They are registered.
This is not. I don't know. I have to go back. Yeah.
This is not.
Yeah.
Share your screen. Let's see.
Hello. Who there?
So go to the bring up your Hyper-V manager.
Yeah.
Right click on the DC. Go to the properties. Go to the settings. Click on the networks. Let's see. Network settings. So default, put it to external.
Oh wait, there's something here. Okay, let's check this.
Is it checked for every other person?
No. I remember I noticed that maybe I checked.
It's unchecked. You have to uncheck it.
It's unchecked, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so just click on apply and click on OK. Let's see. Maybe that could have been the reason. And then restart it one. You have to restart it, connect and restart it one more time.
Okay.
All right, so why he's doing that, right, on the other VMs. So I want you all, I'm gonna share my screen.
It's about to restart his real computer.
No, this is your real computer. Restart, but your VM must start for.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, let me make it full again.
Click on yes there. I see something there. Click on yes.
Yes.
That shows that the VM is now connected to the internet.
So maximize that. Click on the square in between the negative and the plus sign. Let's see. Does it show you now that it is?
It's connected, but it's not counting.
It's connected but not counting, so it means I have to probably restart.
Yes.
For it to fully.
Yes, so go ahead and restart. All right, so why for is restarting everybody, right? I want you all to change your connections to internal. I'm gonna stop for, I'm gonna share my screen. So change your connections to internal. So what you need to—
You already did that now.
Okay, everybody, you did that, everybody.
You did it on my screen.
So did everybody change the internet connections from on the prod, the DC, and the DR to internal?
Yeah. What on DC?
No, not yet. Let me go ahead.
Okay, so can you do that, or you need help with that?
This is in the same area we did the change, right? Where we did the network change to external.
Yes, it's the same thing. Just go back and do it to change it to internal. And I've said in this class, most of these things you need to document them, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that we have done more than 5 times, you should not ask questions about that again if you are taking down your notes. If I was taking down notes in this class, this is what I will get right now. Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Is this my screen or full screen? Okay, that is me. If I was in this class, I will be now, I'll have this change network to internal, external. I'm just gonna go to Hyper-V, right click on the VM. That is all what I'm gonna do. Right click on the VM, go to settings, and here, click here, select on the drop-down internal. Each time I say change your network from internal to external, you not need to ask me questions. Where do I go to do that, right? We have done that like 3 times in class. Just try to take down some key points. If you are slow in typing, have your book beside you.
So I tried to do that, and it said I can apply changes. I don't know what that means.
Share your screen, let's see.
Okay.
Sorry, whether man is counting or not, you have to do it, right?
Everybody, whether it is, everybody, right now, I don't want to hear whether it is counting or not. If yours is not counting and you have not reported it, do not report it again. So everybody now, you should be counting. Change your network from external to internal. All right. So let me see what you're trying to do.
Okay, so I'm trying to change my DC to internal.
Sorry, should we go through setting or virtual switch manager?
Okay. Listen, let me explain this one more time. I'm doing this one more time. When you have Hyper-V, Hyper-V itself have the settings there. So the initial thing that we did in this class was to go into Hyper-V under the virtual switch manager and create the internal and external switch. That internal and external switch can be used by any VM that we create in Hyper-V. So we are already gone past that. The only time where we'll need to go to virtual switch manager is if we want to create another network switch, but we are not doing that. To change now a network switch on a VM to internal or external, what you need to do is exactly what Blessing is doing on the screen. Right click on the VM. If you have not done this, take a pen on the book next to you now and write. First, to change network on a VM, point 1, connect or bring up Hyper-V manager. That is point 1. Mommy Sola, jot that down. Point 1, bring up Hyper-V manager. Point 2, right click on the VM. Once you right click on the VM, that is point 2, select settings. Once you select your settings, on your left, you want to be more specific, click on network adapter. On your right, on the drop down, select internal. Click on apply, click on OK. There are just 5 steps. Each time I say change your network switch from internal to external, that is what I want you to do. Is this clear now?
Yes.
Okay. So we are changing now from internal so that these VMs can communicate among themselves, and we can build an internal network between these 3 virtual machines. That is why we are doing that.
Okay,
did it come up? Did it count?
Yeah, I think I'm okay now.
I'm asking, do your DC count or no?
I'm logging in right now.
Okay.
It just came up.
So this is what we have done. So right now, we need to set an IP address on these computers, right? So first, do we take a break, 5 minutes or a 10 minutes break?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let us take a 10 minutes break. Let's get back at 9 1010. From there, we'll set up all our IP addresses and see what is the difference between a static and a dynamic IP address. We'll see how we can ping to make sure that the computers are communicating with one another, right? And we'll just build, we'll add some features in our computers. All right, so let me stop. Was I recording? Oh yeah. So let me know once you are on your DC, you bring up your server manager, right? We're gonna explain certain things. So the first thing I want us to do, right, on our server manager, you see the option of Windows Firewall, right? Do you all see that?
Yes.
Okay, so click on Windows Firewall and I'll explain. So Firewall itself is like a security mechanism within the Windows operating system, right? That can be set up to allow just traffic from particular networks or particular IP address. It could be set up to block incoming or outgoing traffic from a particular port. Let me say a port number. Okay, if we say that we don't want port 1433 to be enabled on this computer, we can come over here in our firewall settings and we'll block that port and say that, okay, even if you install SQL here, that port is blocked. You install a default instance of SQL and you block that port through your firewall, then nobody will be able to connect through that port, right? If I say that this is my computer, this is my network, I don't want any any traffic to come into my network from this IP address, 192.168.3.5, blah, 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 right? I can come into my Windows firewall and set that off. So what happens is most companies, this is just the inbuilt security within Windows, but most companies, they have a third-party tool that they'll buy it to actually monitor their networks. Most of the time, these Windows firewall on the servers, they are being turned off. And the third-party tool that they use actually is like a centralized firewall within that environment. So you see that if we have this firewall turned on and we are trying to communicate we are trying to see if our DC is communicating with our DRO or our DRO is communicating with our prod, firewall might be blocking it because that's an inbuilt security feature within Windows that helps to manage traffic, what traffic can come in and what traffic cannot go out, right? So in this class, we're gonna turn it off. In a corporate environment, on these individual servers like this, firewall is mostly turned off. And there is a tool that the company uses to manage their firewall. Does that make sense?
Mine is showing Windows Defender Firewall. Instead of just
do you understand the concept of firewall? That was the first thing I wanted to understand. So if I go back here, let me do this. Again, it's in IT, the most important thing is to understand. Doing it is very easy, right? This is our computers. We have 1, 2, we have 3, right? We have set up we will set up a network in this computer, this one and this one. So, but right now there is a firewall here. There's a firewall here. Let me say, okay, there's a firewall here. There's a firewall here, and there's a firewall here. Each computer is having a firewall. So what does this firewall do? What does it do? It says that, okay, if any traffic is coming in from this computer, let me call this DC, the arrow, prod. So at this point, this is how our network is. So what does a firewall do? So a firewall is in this format. I have my DC, I have my prod, I need this. But I need both computers to be able to communicate. From my DC, I should be able to access prod. From prod, I should be able to access DR and vice versa. So with a firewall, what it does is I set up this firewall that any traffic that is coming in from prod, right, should either get blocked or allow it to get through. Any traffic that is coming in from this one or is coming from prod to DR, it is either you get blocked here at the firewall or the firewall allows you to go through. So if you have this firewall set up, it will block any of these traffics. Mute yourself, please. If you have this firewall set on, it will block any of these traffics unless, who is that coming from, guys? Let me know so I can mute the person. Okay, so if I want to allow traffic, oh my God. Do you all see where that noise is coming from?
Mommy Solar.
Now, rather than teaching, I'm going to be looking for a way to block her. Mommy Solar.
Yes, I'm the only one here, so I don't know why.
Yeah, just mute yourself. So anyway, that's the concept of a firewall. All I want you all to do is open up go to your DC, open up your firewall. As you see here, click here. Yours should be turned on. So click on the domain firewall, then click on turn firewall on or off. You'll see this. Then make sure all the options that you have there, turn them off.
Brian, yes. Excuse me. When I click on the firewall, what pops up on mine is firewall and network protection. And so under there, I have domain network, private network, public network.
Do you see my screen?
Yes, I'm not having this.
Our screens are different
I'm
from
having the same thing with you. I have the exact thing at Akum House.
Okay, do you see the option to turn off, turn off, turn off?
No.
Okay, so that's probably Windows 2019. Somebody share your screen. All right, so you see here, this is an upgrade. This is 2019. So click on domain firewall.
Domain network.
So you see, click on turn off right here, turn that off. Okay, go back one time. So do the same thing for the private network. Turn it off. You see, this is an upgrade in 2019. Yeah, so that should be fine. I do the same for public network and turn it off. Okay, so that should be good. So close out of everything, close out of that. You can refresh this, and to refresh this, you see on the top right where you have those two round arrows. Come to your left, next to that flag, to your left, right there. Click there. You see it is off now, right?
Yeah.
So everybody turn off the firewall. So let me know if you have an issue.
It still brings me to this page.
No, cancel out of that. You don't need that because you clicked on it again. That's because you clicked on it.
Okay. So are we good?
Yes, you are good from there. Where is the noise coming from? All right, so everybody, do you have it turned off? All right. Yes. So that is for your this thing. Let's just work with our DC for now, right? We have turned that off on our DC. So the next thing I want you all to do is to turn off no, let's leave the other one open for now. So we're gonna set up our IP addresses on our DC. I'm gonna explain as we are going forward. So somebody share your screen, and I already sent a script, somebody for the IP addresses. So somebody share your screen, let's set up the IP addresses.
I do not have the script of the IP address.
Not the script, I sent it in the chart. There's a list of how I want the IP addresses to be set up on the chart.
I think that was when I was out of connection.
Can somebody share that with share that in the chat again?
It's still there.
It's still there.
I don't think he was kicked out at that time.
I just dropped that on the chat.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
All right, thank you.
All right, so to change our IP address, right, you see same under your server manager, you can click on the Ethernet, you see right there, right? Ethernet, you have IPv4 address. Let me know if anybody is missing that. Okay, so once you click there, you're gonna come up to, this is your network card. This is the virtual network card that you have on your computer right now on that VM. So right click on it.
Brian.
Yes.
I'm not there.
Who is this?
Nelly.
Okay, so Nelly, are you on server manager? Close this, Nelly, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Do you see internet?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay, click there. Who else is not there?
Okay.
So click there. Right click. Go to the properties. So this is where you set up the IP address of your computer. So here you're gonna see, when you click on properties, you're gonna see a couple of things, right? You see Internet Protocol version 4. That is, I think, the 5th option there, or the 4th option, right? And below you see Internet, the other one is Internet Protocol version 6, but we are using version 4. Most companies, some companies now, a lot of companies are still using version 4. Just some few things have gone up to version 6. So we're gonna use version 4. And so click on that version 4, just click on it and highlight it like that. So two things, look at here. When you see the version 4, there is a checkbox to it. That checkbox to the left means that it is enabled, right? When I say click on version 4 and go to properties, I don't mean you should click on that checkbox. I mean you should click actually and highlight it as 4 has done on the Internet Protocol version 4, right? The checkbox should still be there. Then click on properties. Click on properties now.
Sorry, I'm jotting it down. So
yeah.
We'll do it again. So now there are two ways. Let me explain this. Right? There are two ways to assign an IP address to a computer or to any device in a network. Right? The two ways are the DHCP. Right? So you have the DHCP. I can share my screen and anyway. It's okay, we'll explain that again. So you have DHCP and you have a static IP address. So there are two ways that you can assign an IP address to a computer. What happens in your home is all your devices are on a dynamic IP address, right? Which is DHCP. DHCP is Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol.
Control.
Yeah. Oh, control. Dynamic Host Control Protocol.
Yeah.
That is DHCP. So meaning that you're telling that server that, okay, you probably have a DHCP server somewhere that dynamically assigns IP addresses to any device in your network. So what happens in your home is when somebody comes in and say, hey, give me your password Wi-Fi, your Wi-Fi password, right? As soon as they get that password, your router has been set in such a way that it automatically assigns an IP address to that device that is connected to that network, to that router. But in an office where you have servers, right? Servers are normally not DHCP. They have a static IP address, meaning a static IP address does not change unless you go in there and change it. So if you assign a server a static IP address, it's gonna be there forever. Why do we do this? When we were dealing with connection strings in SQL, at one point we say you can use the server IP address as a connection string for an application to connect to a database server. So if you set the IP address to dynamic or to DHCP, what will happen is each time that computer reboots or that server reboots, that IP address is going to change, meaning that you need to go now to your applications and update the connection strings with the new IP address, which is not a good practice. So your servers, for the most part, they'll always have a static IP address and they'll be there forever until you decommission those servers. Does that make sense? Okay, so there are two ways that you can assign IP address. You can use a static IP address, or you can use a DHCP, which is dynamic, right? With the dynamic IP address, each time you restart the server, the IP address changes, like in your home. If you restart your phone now, if you can check the IP of your phone, if you restart it, your router is going to assign a different IP address to that phone. But a server always have, for the most part, a static IP address because it's supposed to be there. So share your screen, let us set your IP address. Somebody. Anybody? All right, Martha, thank you. So right now, you are set up to have a, what setup is this? Can somebody read? What is checked? That checkbox, what is it?
Dynamic.
So read what is there.
Obtain an IP address automatically.
Yes, so meaning that the computer is going to obtain an IP address automatically. You cannot see that IP address. If you restart it, it's going to change. You don't even see it. So for our servers, we want them to have a static IP address. So you're going to click on use the following IP address. And this is where you set your IP address, right? So it has to be what I gave you, 192. Type in 192, and there are 4 octets. 192.168.0, and then you click on the last octet now and put 1. Oh, let's put 3. Let our DC be, let it start with 3, right? Okay, so our subnet, this one is going to come by default. It's going to say that, okay, I know this, the system knows that this IP address 192.168.0.3 is coming from this subnet. So a subnet is just like you have a big network, right? And you want to divide that network into a multiple smaller networks. That is when the issue of a subnet comes into play, right? So if you have an IP address that is 192.168.0.3, you will not understand this now, but just get it, right? You have the IP address, you have the subnet, this in this 255.255.255 subnet, then you can go to, the other one is a default gateway. So you will not really need a default gateway right now. So a default gateway is just an address that is a default gateway is an IP address that routes traffic, right? It gets the traffic and send it out to a particular network. Let me just put it that way. But we don't need that in this class, right? This is not a networking class. So the other thing that we need here now is just the preferred DNS. I'm going to explain this later on. So the preferred DNS here should be the 192.168.0.3. And this is going to be across the board for all the VMs. This is what your preferred network DNS is going to be. It's going to be the IP address of your server. That's your preferred DNS. That DNS stands for domain name services, right? So let's just leave it that way. Click on OK. We're going to explain this more as we are moving forward, and then click on OK. Click on close. Close out of this. All right. So now you have said refresh that this server manager to your top. To refresh that, I showed you, go to your top, go to the left where you have the round cycle. Click there.
Sir, how do I bring up my refresh?
Now what?
How do I get my? I don't have my refresh on my server.
Can you see her screen?
Yeah, I can see her screen very well.
So can you show him where refresh is, Martha? Do you see her mouse?
It's not on mine. I can see it on her, but it's not on mine.
What do you see manage on yours?
No.
Okay, so probably you have minimized it or you have maximized it and you are not seeing that.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
so at this point, this is what we have done on our DC, right? We have turned off the firewall. We have set up our IP address, right? So did you change a computer name? So
yeah, I did, but I did not. I took reset letter, so that's why restart letter.
Okay, so now once you do this, I want you to restart this VM.
Okay.
Restart your DC. You can close out of that. You gotta restart anyways. So go to the bottom. So who was not able to set the IP address on? You understand this one with time, guys. Just get it now, and we'll do some more.
Brian, should we all go ahead and restart?
Yes, everybody. If you have changed the name, also go ahead and restart. If you have choose restart later. So that was it for your prod. I mean for your DC. So now bring up your prod, everybody. Somebody share your screen. Once this thing is restarting, since your DC is restarting, bring up your prod. We're gonna do the same thing with prod. Can somebody share? All right. So right now your prod, Frank, I want you to, first of all, let's change the name to prod, right? So maximize that. I don't know if you maximize it. Okay, perfect. So you click on local server. Okay, so click on that name, that computer name. Click on change, and you change it to prod. Click on OK. Guys, we are doing good. The class is going very well. Click on OK. Click on close, and we'll restart later. Okay, go on your firewall, turn off your firewalls. If you don't turn this off, you're gonna have issues, and I will know. So do the same thing. Turn off your firewall. All right. So go to your refresher to see it's turned off. Go to your Ethernet. Set up the IP address. So now it's gonna be right click there. Go to properties. IPv4, go to properties. That is good, man. You have captured that. So set it again to 192.168.
Brian, can we slow down a little bit? We are writing down steps. Yes.
You have to, yeah, hold on. We'll slow down. You have to type. Make sure your num lock is on, Frank. That's why it's not typing. 192.168.0.4. No, just 0. The next octet is gonna be 4. Then go to your preferred DNS. 192.168.0.3. So make sure that this is 3. Don't mistakenly put 4 on all. The preferred DNS is gonna be 3. Right. Click on OK. Click on close.
It should restart?
Yes. So go ahead and restart.
Refreshes.
You can refresh and go ahead and restart. Restart it. So now if you want to take down notes, we'll do the same. So go to your DR now and connect to your DR. Anyone who wants to take down notes, or somebody who wanted who want to share. Who wants to share and get it?
Let me share.
Okay, Maxwell. So what we are doing now, the first thing is taking down notes, right? No, bring up your server manager. Close out of this, so we're gonna document. So bring up server manager.
Brian.
So Brian, I know we restarted, but the computer name didn't change.
Did you restart?
Yes.
Hold on, we'll come and look at it after.
Brian, from the prod that you just did you turn off the enhanced security config? That's IE.
No, I did not turn that off. Don't bother about that until we are running into issues. That's when we'll work with that. So did you already change it for prod, right? Who is it sharing?
Yes. Yeah. So should we ignore it or just
ignore it? If I don't say it, just ignore it for now. So go to your DR, connect your DR. Let's do the same thing. So what we are doing is, you can close out of this. This little thing on your screen that you're not seeing, that you are not using, close out of it. Not that, no. Yeah, so click on local server. So the first thing that we are doing is, okay, he already changed his computer name. That's why you see DR there, right? So on this screen, we are changing our computer name. Anyone has any issue in changing a computer name? So you have already changed it, so that is fine. I'm just asking, does anyone have any questions how to change a computer name? Okay, so we all are good at that point, class, right? Don't feel bad to ask questions, guys. Ask if you don't know. I'm more than willing to explain to you time and again. Even if my tone of voice changes, that is just the way I talk, right? But I don't want to suppress. I don't want to make you feel like you cannot ask questions. I'd like to explain. If you are not there, tell me you are not there. I will make fun of it at times, where I'll say end up telling you. Do not take it personal. Okay, so we all are good with changing computer name. So go to your firewall. To turn off your firewall, you click on public where you are. You click on the domain. Click on power off. You see, me, I have never used 2019 server, but it's the same concept, right? Because I know what I'm doing. To me, it was the same concept. That's why I did not get freaked out when you told me that it wasn't the same like mine. I did not get freaked out, but it's the same thing. Okay, so close out of that. Then you can go to your internet. No, you're there. Change your IP address. Right click, go to properties, IPv4. You need to, 192, 168, 0 and 5.
Sorry, for prod, what will it be? Is it still 3?
Check on your chart. Go to your chart and check what is supposed to be for prod. Again, you cannot have 2 computers in the same network with the same IP address. So prod will never be 3.
Okay.
No, that is 3 for the preferred DNS. I said the DNS is going to be 3 for all. I mean the IP address. So this is supposed to be 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Click on OK. Because now you already changed your computer name and it's already showing there. You don't need to restart your computer anymore. So just click on close.
All right.
All right. So click on close there. Close server manager. All right. So that is the first part. We all are good. We have set up our IP addresses. Let's go to the next step. If you're having issues, with IP address, let us know.
Thank you.
Who has not set the IP address?
I have a problem with the prod.
I'm still doing.
Share your screen, let's see. If you have a problem, share your screen, let's see. What does it say?
It says the combination of.
Go to your, click on OK. Click on OK there. Go to your chart.
Brian.
One moment. So
Okay.
click on OK. On your chart, is that the IP address that you're supposed to have there?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure? Go to your chart. Go to your chart and read what is supposed to be the IP address of prod and come and correct it there. You just have the IP address that you have is mixed up. Go to your, open up your chart. What is, read it out loud on the prod. What is supposed to be the IP address?
192.168.0.4.
Okay, so what do you have here?
3.
What do you have here?
I have got 40.
Okay. No, yeah, that is still not correct. It is 0. 4 is on the other octet. Not there. It's not 0, 4. So 4 is on the other side.
Even a domain name server is not correct.
Even the DNS. So it has to be 0 and 3. 192.168.0 and 3. Click on OK. Close. Close out of this. Did you change the computer name?
Yes, I did, but I've not restarted it.
Okay, so go ahead and restart the computer. You know where to restart it, right? Yeah, there you go. You're good. Go where you were.
Brian.
One moment. Yeah, click on there. Click on restart. Okay, next question.
Brian, I was wondering, I thought IP addresses usually have port numbers.
No, it doesn't have a port number. The IP address is just the numbers. The port themselves, they are within the system. You have not gotten there. You see, like when you install SQL, they tell you what's the port number. You go to Configuration Manager, and you see 1433. So IP addresses and port numbers are different things. And we can take that as a research topic, the difference between an IP address and a port number. All right.
Thank you.
So everybody, make sure that when you connect back to your servers, after the restart, the name should reflect the server. The name now, you should have a server that in Server Manager, you see prod, you see DC, and you see DR, right? Any questions at this point before we move forward?
Don't move forward.
You're not done.
We're not done yet.
Okay.
That thing is too slow.
Brian, just while we're working on this, I discovered something while I was playing with the virtual machines that were installed, the prod, the DR, and the DC.
Mm-hmm.
I discovered that they both have IP address. I mean the IPv4. When I tried to, I was trying to ping to see to ping them with my the hosts, my computer. So I went into their command prompt, and I saw that they all have an IPv4, which is the IP address.
Yeah, so both of them have IPv4s, and they also have IPv6 because it's configured, it's enabled. But we'll see that.
Okay, you said it was configured. We didn't configure it when we created those machines.
Yeah,
so
you didn't configure IPv6, right?
4.
On which we just did. We just set up IP addresses, IPv4 addresses.
Yeah, so what I was saying is earlier today while I was playing with it, that was when I went into the command prompt of the DR, of the prod, and then of the DC. And then I tried to ping. And then I used the IP config, and I was able to see the IP address of DR of each of the.
Yeah, because they were dynamically assigned. Remember, initially they were dynamically assigned. They had IP addresses. That is why it was able to connect to the internet, right? So, but those IP addresses were dynamically assigned. You did not set them up. Each time you rebooted, they were gonna change. Mommy Sola, do you have a question?
I'm fine.
All right. So now we just want to make sure that these computers are able to, first, we have confirmed that we have set up our IP addresses. We have confirmed that we have turned off the Windows firewall. We have confirmed that we have changed the computer name. Those are three important things that we have done. So now we have to verify, right, if these computers are communicating with one another. So how do you check? So the first thing I want you all to know how to check the name of your computer. Does anyone have any issues checking what your computer name is? Well, that's a very technical question, right? Secondly, you all know how to check your IP address of your computer. Margaret, share your screen. Margaret, share your screen. Go to your DC. Oh, your screen is that one that is hard to share like that. We are not seeing it. We are not seeing it, Margaret. Okay, we see it now. So I want you, Margaret, to tell me what is the computer name of this your DC? Show me the computer name. We cannot hear you. So what is the computer name?
Margaret.
No, that is not a computer name. What we just changed this computer name. What is it called? If I ask you what is it?
DC.
So where do you see it? How can you?
On the server manager.
So go there and show me. You already have server manager open. That's the last thing on the bottom of your screen.
This one. Yeah. So, but the name didn't change. I told you that when I restarted my computer, it didn't change.
So it means you did not take it. Click on that name. Click on the name. Change it. So are you sure you restarted this computer? It's still DC. That is fine.
When we did the IP address, is set to restart.
It did not restart. Cancel that. You can click on cancel, and then restart that computer. You don't need to minimize it, just restart it. Go to your prod, bring up your prod, let me see.
The prod is still loading. Oh.
That's your DC that is loading. I was looking at the prod. Anyway, you are having it. Okay, you can stop sharing, Margaret. It's gonna take us time. We are running out of time. So let me have
Right, share?
Yes, share. Who wants to share?
I'm sure.
Okay, bring up your prod. This thing that you're not using, click on X here, X out of that. Okay. You are not, no, why are you Xing out of that? If you X out of that, it means you are closing out of this prod, Mommy Solar. Just maximize that, make it open. Let's see the entire screen. Okay, so I want you to show me the computer, the computer name. What's the computer name?
Prod.
Show me, how do you see it?
System information.
There are so many ways that you can see that, but I just want you to at least know where you can see it. All right, and what is the IP address of this computer? What is the IP address?
IP address.
19.
Can you read the IP address for me? Close out of this, Mommy Solar. What is the IP address? Close out of that. What is the IP address of this computer? Can you read it for me?
196.168.0.4.
192.
Can you hear me? 192.
It's 192.168.
192.0.4.
Okay, so you can go to these properties, right? So what is the DNS name? What is the DNS number or the DNS address of this computer?
Brian.
Yes.
We took IPv4. Why is it showing 6?
6 is just telling you that it's enabled. IPv6 is enabled on the computer, but it doesn't have an address there.
Okay.
So Mommy Sola, can you show me what is your DNS name, the DNS address?
DNS address.
You have to click there. It's under your IP. Click on the IP address. It's under your IP address settings. Click on the IP address. You need to understand some of the things that we have done today. Go to the properties. Click on properties. From here, you can also click on properties. Then click on IPv4. Click on the properties. So, and you have it wrong. I was just saying as if I was kidding. What did I say the DNS address should be?
Always
3.
Okay, can you change this 192.168.0? That 4 should be 3. And this one, it should be the same like this for all the computers. Change that to 3. We'll explain that later on. Click on OK. Click on OK. Go to your DR. You can close out of this. Go to your DR. So we just have one last thing to do, which is to ping the computers to make sure they're communicating with one another. But I want you all to understand these little checks that you need to do. What are you looking for?
I want to check my DR. Right?
So what is the IP address of this DR? That is fine. You are good.
I'm good. Okay. Sorry.
What is the IP address? Read that out, Mommy Sola. There's a reason why I'm...
Okay, 192.168.0.5.
So it's 192.168.0.5, not point.
Yes.
Okay. So let me see the DNS address. What is the DNS address? Okay. So stop there now. So this is how you can manually verify the IP address of your computer, right? So for now, if you want to make sure that this computer is in your network, right? Close out of that, share your screen. Share somebody should share if you are not comfortable sharing. This is the last exercise that we are doing for today. It's just 2 minutes. You'll be able to just check that, right? So who is sharing?
Blessing.
Okay, Blessing. So now to make sure that we are able to, these computers are communicating with one another, bring up your DC. So we're gonna try to ping, right? That is a command that you use. Sign into your DC. Does anyone have the DC already signed in and up to share?
Yes.
Okay, you can share your screen.
I can sign in real quick.
Go ahead and sign in.
Okay.
It's just gonna take some time to load, that's why. All right, so now to check your IP address without going through Server Manager, you can click on this don't show message again and close out of this box so it doesn't show up again. This little one to your left. I don't know if you see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I see, but I'm trying to move. Okay, okay.
Don't move it. Just take your mouse to this little, no, okay. Okay, so to be able to check your IP address of your computer without going through the Server Manager, right? There is one command that you can use to check the IP address, and to do that, you need to open up command prompt. So on your search, type in CMD. You can do CMD. Open up your command prompt. So this will let you check what your IP address is, right? So in CMD, there's a command called ipconfig, which simply means IP configuration. So if you type in IP, note that down, type in IP configuration, one word, just config, FIG. IP config, click on enter. IP config, you cannot delete that, type it there. IP, delete that, you have an end. You don't need that end there. Delete everything. Backspace, backspace, backspace. IP config, enter. Okay, so what is your IP address of your computer?
The IP address is 192.168.
Not point.
Sorry,
I said dot. Okay.
192.168.0.3.
Okay, and what is the subnet mask?
255.255.255.0.
Beautiful, right? So now this is your IP address. This is how you can see it. So the command to check, after an interview, how can you check the IP address of your computer, right? You can go through your Server Manager and look at it, or you can do IP config through command prompt, right? That is one way. So now let us try to see how we can ping this IP address. The next command that we are using now is a ping command, right? We have, just give me 5 minutes, guys. Let me just finish this. I know it's 11 o'clock, so just 5 minutes. So from here, let us see if we can ping this IP address, right? If to ping, please mute yourself. Ping simply means to check if this address is reachable, if that IP address is reachable from the network. You know, normally from the computer that you are, if you ping that IP address, it's gonna be reachable. So type in the word PING, space, and then you put in the IP address, 192.168.0.3. Click on enter. You see, it's telling you there's a reply. You have sent this command and it's telling you that, okay, reply from 192.168 this, that is it, right? TTL, don't ask me what that is. But if you see the ping results coming out like that, if you are getting a reply, it means that IP address is in that network. So now, how do you check the other IP addresses? You can ping them from here. So you just do ping again from this computer, do ping. Then you type space, you type in the IP address of your DC, of your prod now. See if you can ping your prod. 192.168.0.4.
Please, my own is saying is not recognized.
Your command is not correct. Check the command that you are typing again. Click on enter. You see, boom, there is a communication between this your DC now with your prod. So do it again and then try to ping your DR. 192 space, there's a space there. So document these two commands, how to check the IP address of the host of your computer and how to check the IP address of another computer over the network if it's reachable. .5. So your DRO was 5. Enter. Okay, you see that from your DC, you can ping all your other computers, right? So now I want you to try on your prod if you can ping your DC and your DR. From your DR, if you can ping your DC and your prod to make sure that all the computers are working. Because right now, this is what, let me just share this real quick. I'll give you all some extra time. Now can you teach away class, they finish nearly one command. Okay, so right now what she has done, right? Let's just assume these computers were somewhere else. This is what she has done. So here she did, oh, you don't see my screen, right? No, you all see my screen?
No, we'll share
No.
it.
Okay, let me just do this real quick. This is the last one that I promise you.
Should I stop sharing?
I already stopped it. So right now, this is where she was, right? She was here on her prod. I mean on her DC. So from her DC, what she did IP config and confirm her IP address, right? And here she wanted to test communication with a prod and DR. So at this point, what she did was she did a ping and then the IP address of prod was 192.168.0.4 and it went through. She did another ping of 192.168.0.5. 0.5 and that went through. So meaning that from this prod, from this DC, she is able to validate that the IP address of the DC is okay because it's pingable, and then she was able to validate also that from here you can get to prod, and from here you can get to DR. So I want her to do the same thing from prod. So from prod now, she needs to do the same thing. She needs to do IP config, see if she can get the IP address, which she will, and then she will need to do now the ping. The IP address of DC now is 192.168.0.3. She also needs to do a ping 192.168.0.5 because this one is .5, right? So she needs to do that, and it has all the results have to work. So that is how you're gonna learn it. Any questions?
Yes, please. I'm not having connection. I actually have a timeout.
Okay, go ahead and share your screen. That's what I want to see. So go ahead and share your screen.
Someone is sharing?
You can share. You can kick out the person.
Okay. Restore the screen. Yes. See, I tried prod, timed out.
Go to your DC. Go to your DC. Just go to your DC. So troubleshooting connection issues, the first thing that you need to check is the IP address of your DC. Make sure that the IP address is correct. What is the IP address? Open it up.
That's it.
Open that up. I want to see the DNS and everything. Click there. Let me see the DNS name or the DNS address. 192.168.0.3. Okay, that is perfect. So close that. Go to your DC. And on prod also, close out of this. Your firewall is turned off. That is fine. So go now to your prod. Why did you stop sharing? Go to your prod. So now we are troubleshooting connection issues. So let me see the IP address of your prod. Go, let me see the, click there. Let's verify that everything is good. And if we are having connection issues, this is the same step I'm gonna tell you. Check the IP address configurations. Let us see if everything is set up correctly. Okay, so that is fine. So I see that from here, the IP addresses are good, right? And click on OK, close out of this, close out of that. Let me see, firewall is turned off. So now the other thing that I want to check is, are these networks set to internal? If they are not set to internal, they will not communicate. So go to your Hyper-V manager. Bring up Hyper-V manager. Check the DC, go to your DC, check what network is it in. I bet you it's not gonna be an internal.
It was set to internal. If it's not internal, then I'm surprised. That's internal.
Okay, go and check your prod. That's the error.
Internal.
Check your prod.
Internal.
Okay, so everything is internal. So that one tells me the settings are okay. So go to your firewall. Go back to your DC, go to firewall. Click on that firewall. I want to make sure everything is turned off. Go down. Okay. Close out of that. Go to open up your command prompt here. Do your IP config.
It's already open now.
Yeah, just do. So where are you pinking from? Are you pinking from your host computer or from the VM?
From my host computer.
My friend. So how do you think it's gonna communicate?
Man, I don't know. So
bring up. Hold on here. Go to your search right there and bring up the CMD. You are creating a network between those three VMs, not with your host computer. Bring up command prompt from there.
Okay, I think that's why I was missing it. That's why I was missing it. I think so.
Okay, so try to ping 192.168. So it sees itself.
Yeah, that's why I was missing it.
So right now, just ping the other ones. Let me know who else is not. I'm ready to sit and help anyone who is not able to ping the computers, troubleshoot.
Hey, Dr. Brian.
The class is over. If you want to go, you can go.
Dr.
I'm
Brian.
ready to help anyone. Yes.
Yes. My port is not reachable. So it's like the Windows license is not popping up for my port.
But you should have reported that earlier. Share your screen.
Everything was working beautiful before. I don't know.
No, if it registered once, that will be it. You don't need to register it again.
So this is.
Bring the VM up. Bring me the VM. Just connect to it. Maximize it. Let me see the bottom. All right. Bring up server manager.
Is it?
No, that is not server manager. That is Hyper-V manager. Go to the VM, your prod, and bring up server manager on your prod. What is the IP address? Go to the local server. Okay, so open that up. So when you said it's not registering or it's not pinging?
Yeah, it's not pinging because of the Windows license validity. It's not popping up.
No, you will not stop that. You will not stop that. Okay. So right click there. Go to the properties. I asked earlier in this class, make sure that yours is counting. You did not say anything until now. That is going to be.
It was counting, no?
No, it wasn't. Click on that IPv4. Click on properties. I just want to check something. Okay, close out of that. So that setting is okay. So I want you to go to Hyper-V, try to ping, open up your CMD here and try to ping, let's see. Open up command prompt.
I already tried from GR to ping.
Yes, just open it up again. So try to ping itself, 192.168.0.4. Okay, it can ping itself. Try to ping .3. So you can ping itself. Try to ping .5. So .5 is unreachable. Which .5 is your DR? So go to your DR.
Wonderful.
So your DR, I want you to, what is the IP address? Type in IP config, IP config, enter. So it's .5. Okay, so go to server manager. Click on IPv, click on the address. Let me see the properties. Okay, so go to your Hyper-V manager. Let's make sure it is set to external. Bring up Hyper-V manager. That's your DR that we are working. It was a DR or prod. That was DR that we are looking at, that you are not able to ping. It's DR. Right click on DR and go to the settings. So it's set to internal. Okay. Go to prod. Right click, go to the settings. Internal, go to your DC. So everything is set to internal. So go to your DR and go to the server manager again and check the firewall settings. Connect to your DR. Click on that firewall. Scroll all the way down, make sure that everything is turned off. Okay. What are they gonna do? So from this DR, open up a CMD. Open up command prompt from here. So try to ping .3 and .4. Ping 192.168. .3. Okay, so there is something wrong with this one. So try to ping .4. Ping 192.168.0.4. Okay, so this one is having an issue. What I'll have you do is, let me see. Go to the IP address again. Open up Server Manager. Let me check that one more time. Yeah, this is good. Click there, Properties. 192.168.0.5, 255.255.255.0, 192.168.0.3. All right, so close that. So what else could be stopping it from not communicating? Go to your server manager, go to your IE enhancement and turn it off. There you go.
Okay.
Turn everything off. That is on. Turn off. It means you click on the off options. Click on OK. So I want you to restart the server now.
I'm having a feeling that he actually opened them probably a long time ago. Maybe that's one of the reasons. If you can restart all of them, you'll be able to see.
Yeah, let him restart and we see. Who else is having issues pinking? Let me just be sure. Guys, let me stop recording. Share your screen. The class is over.
I had